Do you find yourself to be incredibly successful in professional world, but feel like you're lacking in the personal world? That you're trying to put yourself out there and not really sure where to go and how to do it when it comes to our dating culture? Well, I am Jennifer Evans with Empowering Wellness Counseling Solutions, and I'm actually opening up a dating group starting February 24th. It'll be 5:30 on Tuesdays for 9 weeks, and we're going to be going into a lot of core dynamics that keep us from being in the relationship, the healthy relationship and thriving relationship we yearn for. And that is because behavior is predictable, and there are things that we are doing, these core things that we are doing, that is actually pushing people away and pushing ourselves away from people. And so what we're going to do is explore these key concepts. One of these, and we're going to look at 7 transformational models, and that is avoidant attachment. Looking at this fear of obligation for somebody else and fear that somebody else is obligated to us. This comes because of a lot of reasons. Birth order gives us some avoidant tendencies. Parenting techniques gives us some tendencies. Trauma, in utero trauma, avoidant tendencies. Implicit trauma, avoidant tendencies. So there's a lot of things that happen that have nothing to do with anything. There's no shame in the game. But what it caused us is to feel like there's this kind of like this ick when it comes to obligation or commitment. And that really prevents us from being able to open ourselves up to anything, because we start getting into all or nothing thinking very, very quickly. And then we're going to master emotional boundaries. So another piece is this kind of fear of vulnerability, that if I let a little bit out, that all of it will come out, and we're not really sure how to siphon. So we keep a lot of tight hold. And again, vulnerability. This is all in my book too, of Saying Goodbye to Bad Brain. There's this vulnerability piece that we don't really want to be emotionally open, because it comes with a cost, and it's icky. We just don't like it. And then this confidence in dating. If you've been dating for a long time, you're now in your late 30s, your early 40s, there's a lot of stigma around that. And that in itself creates its own negative dynamic that we have to overcome, and that will strip our confidence. And we explore a lot about confidence in dating, and feeling as if we don't want the 2.3 kids in Connecticut with a colonial and a white picket fence, that we're obviously not going to find anybody. There's so much implicit messaging when it comes to dating, and we're going to bust through all of it. So confidence in dating is a very big part of it, and perceived expectations really hinder us from being able to maximize on that. And then again, this vulnerability without compromise. Just because you give a little, or somebody gives a little to you, does not mean that you are sacrificing or compromising your core values, and that you are opening yourself up to a life or death situation, or something that is going to be manipulated. And so finding balance with vulnerability, and I actually have, if you go on my blog, a timeline of vulnerability for dating. It's a great way to start pacing ourselves so that we get out of these all or nothing thinkings, and we find the shades of gray in between. And then we start looking at partner selection. We look at trauma bonds. We look at kind of what draws us to people. Is this our values? Is this our fear? Are we settling? Are we fearing we're settling? Really, what does it look like to be smart in partner selection? How do we find what it is that we want? And that's a hard you can be dating and still feel like, you know, so many times I get people who are, you know, getting engaged and like, I don't know if this is the right person. It's a person. I'm getting into my 30s. I kind of want to settle down. I don't want to waste anybody's time. I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to waste his time. But you know, is this the right person? And how do I know? Like, how will I know if this is the right person? Well, we're going to explore that in our group. So definitely come and sign up. And if you have just a quick question, not sure if the group's for you, I offer free 15-minute wellness insights. So you can ask specific questions. You can kind of say, this is what I'm looking at and what I want, and I will give you the background of why you are doing the things that you're doing and how I can help you get out of that and start building a happier and healthier life. So go into the video description and click on that link and schedule a free 15-minute wellness insight. And then we talk about and explore this idea about interdependence and codependence. And many times, especially when insecurity comes, I find like it's flame to a moth, insecure attachment and avoidant attachment. Flames to a moth, or moth to a flame. It's like you find each other and you build it and you expand it so much, because an avoidant person, as soon as stuff gets real, is gonna just kind of be like, I'll talk to you in a couple of days. An anxious person, when things get rough and scary, is going to be like, come here, my love, I love you so much. Start love bombing you, start really over engaging with you, and it's going to be like, ooh. And so it's a fun little battle that we have, and that is core with all dating, and it can give us the ick and it can make us want to just run. But how do we stay present with it to see what's really going on? And is this codependence? Is this interdependence? Or is this me and my fear? And so we're gonna look at the difference between the two. And then we're gonna look at this emotional comfort zone and be able to go from a very small, minute emotional comfort zone to a very large. We're gonna expand. What I find when people have avoidant tendencies and have difficulty with interpersonal actions, they find themselves kind of really tight in their space. And so even though their boundaries are arm's length all the way around, they find themselves trying to occupy the most minimal space possible. And this is emotionally, this is physically, this is in our professional lives. Like, so we're willing to take less and we start losing value for ourselves because we're working harder and we're not gaining the value from all the work that we're putting in. So we're going to learn how to really occupy our space and grow that emotional comfort zone. So there's a lot of things that we are going to be looking at and diving into in our Women in Dating group. And what you need to know and what you can gain out of this video is that it's not about you. You are single because of the experiences in your life and how you've interpreted them and how you've used them. And so what we're going to do in a very complicated sort of baby steps is we're going to learn what those experiences are, what our actions are, how to be more action-oriented versus reactionary. The more that we are grounded in the here and now, the more that we are setting intentions and setting what our values are, the more that we are able to receive people, information, experiences. I am Jennifer Evans with Empowering Wellness Counseling Solutions. Thank you so much.